Bad news for the local economy today. South Africa's GDP, gross domestic product, falling by 2.2% in the first quarter of 2018. The culprits? Well, mining and manufacturing are the largest contributors to this negative turn. The manufacturing sector seeing a decrease of 6.4%, agriculture contracting by over 20%. All of this is attributed to a drop in production of field crops and horticultural products. Well, what do we make of this in terms of what it means for the South African economy? Let's go back to our Hyde Park studio. Devan Murugan, good afternoon to you. And whichever way you try to skin this, it is a real shock to the economy, isn't it?
It is indeed, Jeremy. Remember, just months ago, President Ramapo saying he hoped for 3% growth for 2018. We forecast 1.7% in the hope that a growing economy would give us jobs. Well, it was an unexpected negative number today, like you say. Statistics South Africa, again, telling us the economy shrank by more than the expected 0.5%. We say time and time again, many of them had expected political sentiment, economic sentiment, good sentiment, in fact, that we saw in the first 3 months of the year would have translated to growth on the ground. But that's not the case. The figure on your screen now, minus 2.2%, it doesn't bode well for jobs, Jeremy.
Devan, specifically, what is driving the negative sentiment as far as mining and manufacturing is concerned?
And I think that's an interesting question that's been asked time and time again. Let's bring those numbers once up again to show you the exact contributions, or growth rather, of these sectors. The reality is that manufacturing is still struggling to grow. The mining industry, as you say, is continued to be weighed upon, Jeremy, by policy uncertainty. Now, as we said, we hoped that the Ramapo we've seen at the start of the year would have gotten investors to actually put their money in these sectors, increase investments. But of course, it takes more than confidence to see these sectors grow, Jeremy. Policy on the ground, reform on the ground needs to start permeating in a much more convincing sense. We know that, for example, in the mining sector, the legislation linked to that sector is still not sorted out. So I suppose that as time goes by, economists say that it will settle in. The president's efforts to actually fix the economy and increase sentiment will settle in, and investors will start pushing in more money into the economy. But it's a gradual process, and a lot depends on certainty, both on the political front and on the policy front, Jeremy.
Devan, I know you want to get to the petrol story in just a moment, and we will do that, but you mentioned this word, this phrase, Ramapo, which has been bouncing around the South African economy for the past couple of months. Given these figures as far as GDP is concerned, surely now this is giving a lie to this new dawn that we're expecting from the Ramaphosa administration.
What it does, Jeremy, I don't know if I would extend it so far as to a lie, but what it does is that it does tell us that this economy is dependent on more than just sentiment. Certain things structurally needs to be done on the ground. We've seen the president make enormous strides to convince investors that he is indeed fixing SA eNCA. We've seen what happened with the state-owned enterprises, with boards being washed away into the difficult boards, or boards that were not really accepted in the past regime, Jeremy. We've seen the broom sweep pass there. We've seen some good cleanup as far as SARS is concerned. So I think, you know, he's doing his bit, and the administration is doing his bit. But back to your point, what it really means is that structural reform on the ground takes time. Investors need more than just a few happy remarks from the president. But we really need to see these sectors bolster up, grow, so that more money can be coming in. It does take time.
And Devan, adding to our pain this afternoon, the countdown is underway towards this massive petrol price increase.
Indeed, if those GDP numbers weren't bad enough at midnight tonight, motorists will start feeling the pinch, as you say, at the pump. Those petrol prices are set to soar. You can expect petrol to increase by 82 cents a litre. Diesel goes up by 85 cents per litre. and unsurprisingly, many of us are not too pleased about it. Before we hear those comments, the main drivers, once again, is that volatile rand. It's weakened since those Ramapo levels of 11 Rand 50 to the US dollar. We've also seen the oil price move further to $80 a barrel. You put those two together and you see what we're experiencing at midnight tonight, a hike in those petrol prices. Well, Nicholas Bauer, our reporter, went out to get some reactions from motorists.
I think it's ridiculous, considering the cost of living as is exorbitant. To have an increase of this magnitude is really going to affect the budget.
No, petrol is killing us, man. We don't have money. Everything has gone up, man.
Well, we're living in a time where everything is increasing, but salaries aren't increasing, you know, and so it's a time where the rich are getting richer and the poor and the middle class are struggling. So
now, obviously not happy. I mean, with all the increases and it's getting a bit tight. I don't know what we're gonna do. I have to stop walking to work.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do when the petrol price goes up. Eh?
No, I don't have much of a choice. I stay in Pretoria, drive to Joburg every day, so it's already quite an hectic expense for me every month. So